Nigeria Agri-Business Group under by the acronym NAPG says they've done quite a lot in 2017, but they want a lot more done in the new year. In particular, getting the government to roll out one or two executive orders to target the agribusiness investment climate in the country. That's part of the this discussion between the stakeholders, and everyone's got the opportunities to have their say and what the strategies and focus will be as they wrap up the old year and bring in the new one. The president of the Nigeria Agri-Business Group is Sonny Dangote, who is also an executive director within the Dangote Group. Let's take a listen to him first as to what his vision is for this very important business group within the Agric sector in Nigeria.
We have made progress on establishment of the institutional framework for incentivization of the agri input and output market with the technical and funding support of MIRA. In promoting local content engagement, we work directly with two local subject matter consultants to conduct the cost-benefit analysis and legal analysis of fertilizer quality control bill, seed bill, in collaboration with the ministry, as I said. We are working on establishment of price stabilization mechanism specific for certain produce like maize, rice, millet, sorghum. We believe that with what we have witnessed many years and decades over decades, our farmers, first of all, are engaged in the subsistence farming. And so there is no any really predictable way of knowing what the farmer will produce tomorrow or next season or next crop. 1 hectare holder, the next is another 2 hectare, 1 hectare, or half a hectare. You can find in a small area of 10 hectares, there are about 2-3 different crops being produced. In such a fragmented approach, definitely we cannot achieve much in agric revolution as we see it should be the case. Now, the issue about price stabilization we talk about, I know it's going to be a little bit more detailed because people will think that it is going to be a kind of non-free market activities. But in anywhere in the world, we know agriculture is not left to survive by itself. It's been guided and been monitored and be protected to a certain extent, because it is the only vehicle you can eliminate poverty, create more jobs, create sustainable economic activities for the nation. And by and large, if you have agri self-sufficiency in your country, it is a national security issue. It's more than fighting any insurgency. If you can fight the predicaments in agriculture, then you can surely guarantee your nation a stable environment and more prosperous people. So we are working on this, which we can discuss later, detail of, or some of the details of the framework of this price stabilization for certain main produce of agriculture, like I said. And we are promoting the establishment of security crop management companies to regulate, stabilize these prices and ensure there's a minimum price for the producers and there's a maximum price for the processors. As we all are aware, if we can only produce raw materials, which has been the problem of Africa all over decades, it's producing only raw materials where somebody else buy raw materials, add the value, bring it back to you, and you pay 10 times the price. So we're trying to encourage value addition so that the farmer at the end of the day can get even much better price, because somebody at the other side is adding value, so the chain is longer. He can be able to pay more to the farmer, and the farmers can be able to now go and produce more because there's a benefit. We can get youth, women, and other commercial activity entrepreneurs to get engaged and produce more and more, and then excess can either be brought back to the system when there's the shortage for whatever reason, or if there's such excess, could also be exported. So we're working on the formation of this. We're putting a document which will also involve the National Assembly, the Presidency, the Ministry of Agriculture, to see that we facilitate this establishment of price stabilization and also these crop management companies, which will all be driven 100% by private sector, not by government, but with collaboration of government support and policies. And this is our aim to see that by next year we'll be able to get this done. But the work has been on and in this year, so it's one of the main drive of NAPG. And however, challenges remain with us. With our vision of a bill and the passage of a law on national agribusiness investment plan for food and nutrition security in Nigeria, we are confident that the administration of President Buhari will achieve sustainable success in its commitment to build upon the foundation of agricultural transformation agenda on the previous administration. The new law is intended to remove some of the major constraints facing agribusiness sector of the agribusiness investment in Nigeria, which we all know one of the major problems is the long-term funding in agribusiness. If you take the big companies who can access some of these agri-fundings through CBN, majority of the participants in agribusiness, small, medium, have difficulties in sourcing any long-term funding. So we need to make sure that there is a platform, or the ministry and the federal government working through Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, really enshrine this particular issue about providing a long-term funding for medium and small-time farmers. And by that, what we mean, we know there are risks there. The bankers can tell us, oh, there's so much risk of giving a small farmer long-term money. But that's why we are coming with this issue about changing the fundamentals of subsistence farming to commercial farming. Now, one will ask, why? How can one farmer be, with 1 hectare, be a commercial farmer? Yeah, it's right. If he's only holding 1 farm, 1 hectare of a farm, it's difficult to have the cost effective for him to be a reliable farmer. But when we put them together in a clusters, with small 1 hectare, half a hectare, 10 hectares, and so on, and we gather them together and create a unit of farmers that probably end up with 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 hectares, then you now talk about providing them funding, long-term inputs, services. Then they can collectively enjoy the benefit of the large number. But individually, if you leave them, there's no way they can survive on their own or in each one. So that is the essence of saying we need to look at this long-term funding. We will ensure that creating of farmers into clusters will enable them to access this kind of funding, and then they will be able to access better seed or inputs, better mechanization equipment, better market value, and so on. More productive approach to their businesses. And this is the part of what we are talking about. It's all part of the price guarantee scheme. So when you put the farmers in clusters, provide them with the irrigation scheme, provide them with the better funding, definitely tomorrow they can be a strength to reckon with and ensure supply into the market. Now we talk about also the coordination, like with the government, lack of government coordination, policy inconsistency, lack of supply security, an inadequate public sector infrastructure investment, lack of applied food and agri research, science and technology transfer capacity, lack of consumer insight and nutrition sensitivity, on agri best practices, lack of local content, foreign direct investment policies, regulation and laws, lack of climate smart and agri best practices.